What's up guys, I'm welcome back to Software and Audio Solutions, and today we're talking about Call of Duty Warzone. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Call of Duty Warzone has brought out a new update, and it actually brought out a few updates since my last video that I actually posted, and a lot of people are having problems with the game in general with FPS loss and just game crashing to the desktop or random stuff happening in the lobby. So today I'm going to go over some tips and tricks that you can do to make your game work perfectly fine. Now, I had this issue with my game when I was actually playing with this game with my brother, where I would go into the lobby and then him and his friend would be in the lobby with me, and then I can't see my own character. Now, there's an easy way of fixing this, and also the game crashing and getting, FPS lost and stuff like that. Let's just go straight ahead and jump straight into this. Alright, so the first thing you're going to need to do is open up your Battle.net itself. Just make sure that your Battle.net is up to date on a regular basis. Just make sure if there's a green thing up here, just make sure that your Battle.net is up to date. Also make sure that your Windows is up to date, so just obviously type into settings like this. Let's go to your settings and go to update and security on your Windows and just make sure your Windows is up to date. Now if you have one of these over here, which is an optional one, just download and install it. Go ahead and do that. I'm not going to do that now because I'm going to bore you guys by installing that. Next step you're going to need to do is go to options over here and then go to game settings. You're going to go to apps over here and just make sure it says exit Battle.net completely and then exit Battle.net completely. You do not want this application to run in the background while you are playing the game. Trust me, it uses resources of your RAM, your CPU, basically just your RAM and CPU. It doesn't really do anything about your graphics card or anything to do with your graphics card, but it does do something about your RAM. So I highly recommend just changing these two to this. Right, once you're done with that, you're going back here again and you're going to go to Show in Explorer. You're going to go to Call of Duty Modern Warfare, or whatever yours is called, scroll all the way down and go to this one over here where it says Modern Warfare. Right click on it and go to Properties. Go to Compatibility Mode, disable full screen optimization, run this program as administrator, double tick these ones over here, or just tick them and say apply. Once you're done with that, you're going to do this for change settings for all users, and you're going to do the exact same thing over here. Just tick these two, say apply, and go to change high DPI scaling. This one over here, DPI, the program DPI, tick this box when assigned it to Windows. High DPI scaling override, tick this box, application, and say OK. So this is your high DPI settings. I highly recommend going in here and changing these things. It does help for the game, it actually does. And once you're done with that, you just close out of this, and then the next step you're going to need to do is go to the search button over here and type in run, just like this. Or there's another way of doing this, just press the Windows key and R, and it'll do the exact same thing. Right, so every time before you jump into Warzone itself, I highly recommend you do this, because it will actually speed up your machine. Not by a lot, but it will speed up your machine in general, especially if you're playing this game on a laptop or with a low-end gaming machine or a low-end gaming laptop and you're struggling with your machine in general. So the first thing you're going to need to do is type in temp, just temp alone, and then delete everything that's inside here. If there's a lot of stuff inside, you just click on anything, press Ctrl and A, it will highlight everything for you, right click on it and say delete. Once you're done with that, you're going to do the exact same thing, so Windows key and R, it's going to come up, Shift 5 with the percentage symbol, type in temp, Shift 5 with the symbol, press enter, click on anything, Control and A, highlight everything, and then say delete. Once you're done with that, you click on this over here and say skip, because Windows is currently using these files over here, so you can't delete it. You're going to do this one more time, and this time you're going to type in prefetch, just like this, and press enter. You're going to say continue, click on anything, press Control and A, highlight everything inside here, say delete, and then delete everything inside here, tick this box and say skip, because Windows is using these two files. Once you're done with that, you're just going to empty your recycling bin. Make sure you empty your recycling bin. Once that's done, you go back into Battle.net. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump straight into the game. I'm going to show you the settings that I'm using currently at this very moment for Warzone. I actually played it yesterday, so these are the settings that I'm using. Let's jump straight into that. Let me show you the settings that you're going to be using. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, this is a very crucial step over here where it says installing shaders to optimize performance during gameplay. Do not skip ahead into this. Don't say play while this is doing this over here. Let it finish and then click play. It's very, very important for you to let this finish. Let it show finish in green and then you should be good to go with the game. Alright, so let's jump into the settings. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I'm in Call of Duty Warzone right now. Now, a lot of people are playing this game in, if you go to graphics and you go to display, a lot of people are playing this game in full screen borderless or full screen extended window. As you can see, if I move this over here, the VRAM changes a slight bit, just a slight bit, but it changes more if you have this selected or this selected and you start changing things. So I do highly recommend playing this game in full screen mode. Obviously change to your monitor. It will automatically pick up your monitor or whatever screen you are playing on. Then select your graphics card that you're running and the refresh rate of your monitor or your display or whatever you are running. If you're running a gaming monitor, whatever the case might be, you do the hertz of your monitor. This one over here, I highly recommend keeping this at 100. I think the lowest you should go for this season 2 or this latest update is 95. Don't go anything lower than this. You can just press enter. You can literally type it in and press enter, but I don't recommend going anything lower than that. I keep mine at 100, and as you can see, it's still not over the max VRAM. But you can go over the max VRAM and your game will still run absolutely fine, so don't worry about that. This one over here, I highly recommend disabling it. This one over here, doesn't matter where you put it. You can put it on 300, you can put it on 10. You're not capping your FPS, so don't worry about this one over here. Aspect ratio is obviously your personal preference because everyone else in that aspect ratio, this one over here, you can obviously keep this on automatic or you can put it on what you want on your personal settings because everyone has their own personal monitor. If it's widescreen, ultra wide, whatever the case might be, I keep mine on automatic because I play through a TV. Right, Vsync, I obviously disable this. Vsync is there for screen tearing. If you are new and watching this video and you've never heard of that before, screen tearing is basically what it shows you here on the preview. So that's screen tearing over there. If you're getting screen tearing, then I highly recommend putting this on. It will cap your FPS to the refresh rate of your monitor. So if your monitor is doing 60 Hz, you'll do 60 FPS. If it's a 144 Hz, you'll do 144 FPS. If you have a good enough machine to run at 144 FPS. If you have a lower end machine, you might not hit that 144, but you'll do over 60. Alright, so I disable mine, I keep mine disabled, I do not get screen tearing. This one over here, you keep on unlimited. This one over here, you are going to put this at 60. Do not put it at default because it just does not help you, especially if people hide in dark corners, because there is some dark corners in this map. Alright, this one over here, you're going to put it on 2.2, disable this one here, and disable this one here. Now we're going to go to quality. We're going to apply these settings and go to quality. This does not play a FPS role in the game at all. So a lot of people are saying that the sweet spot is 100. I can type it in, like just click here and type it in, but I'm not going to. So I play mine like this, but it's your own personal preference on where you're going to put this. It actually tells you over here at these little horizontal and vertical, it tells you what it does, what it changes. Okay, so I keep mine at 120. That's my own personal preference. This one over here, I highly recommend putting this at least. This low, this you can put on high or on normal, one of the two. If you have a low end machine, I highly recommend putting it on normal and your game will be absolutely fine. I can play mine on high, so I keep mine on high. This one over here, you can put it normal or you can put it at low. Normal is fine for Call of Duty. You're playing a multiplayer game, so it doesn't need to look that great. Particle quality, I can keep mine on low, and my game runs perfectly fine. Disable this, disable this. Unless you want your sprays and your bullet impacts, you can go ahead and enable this. It doesn't really do anything on the game's FPS at all. I tried it, it doesn't do anything. Tessellation does do stuff to your FPS, so you can either do near, all, or however you want it. I keep mine at disable, so I can actually see my enemies a little bit better. I don't really care about the terrain at all, so yeah. This one over here is your own personal preference. I keep mine on enable. This one over here, on-demand texture streaming, disable it. You don't need this at all. You really don't. This one over here, you're only going to put the film strength on 1.00 if you have NVIDIA DLSS on. Now, there's a lot of people that commented in my videos that they don't have NVIDIA DLSS, so they put this on disable, obviously. Then what you're going to do is, if this is disabled, put this on 0. Go ahead and put it on 0 and put this at this, that, or on this, if you do not have NVIDIA DLSS. For NVIDIA DLSS users, I highly recommend, if you're using NVIDIA DLSS, use quality and then put this at 1.00, like me, right? You're going to disable this, it's a multiplayer game. Disable this, multiplayer game. Disable this, it's a multiplayer game. You want to kill people, you do not want to see stuff like this. You don't want this. Alright, this one doesn't really play anything on the game itself. When you play the game and you're in a map, it doesn't look any different on extra, high, or normal, or low. It doesn't. So just leave it on normal and you should be good to go. This one over here is your own personal preference. These two over here, I keep mine enabled because it helps for me with newer generation machines. This one over here, I keep on normal. DirectX ray tracing, you do not want this enabled. Ambient occlusion, you disable this completely. And then this one over here, you're going to disable completely as well. And you're going to apply these settings. Ladies and gentlemen, if this worked for you, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're new here, and as always, ladies and gentlemen, peace out.